basically, if you think of additive cost, let's take the context from the plant-to-plant transfer. So, plant-to-plant transfer, you are pretty much having standard cost in one plant, and you are transferring that standard cost, okay, from one plant to another plant, and that plant is taking up and setting up this standard, okay. So that is a plant-to-plant transfer scenario, and then in the adding to that is additional cost that you want to incorporate. The example that we have talked about, it can be used for any purpose, right? But this example is like one plant, one place you are producing, one place you are transferring it, and it is all the time you will have these additive cost, right? Additive means like freight cost. So pretty much like a lot of companies, intercompany transfers, interplant transfers, everywhere there is a freight component is there, and again SAP handles that, but it's not like the way that users want, right? Users want in a different way, but SAP handles all that. So pretty much you put all the conditions in the SD conditions and have markup prices between the plants, all that kind of stuff, right? But end of the day, the material movements which are taking place, the material valuation, needs to have a proper standard cost. So, for that, what you are doing is that you are using additive cost. Okay, this is just additional cost, and SAP very clearly mentions that you are using this for additional costs such as freight cost and transportation cost. Okay, and then again, graphical representation that just now I described it, right? So pretty much what you are doing. One second. So pretty much what you are doing is hello?
Hello.
Yeah, sorry. Somehow the voice is lost, right? So pretty much what you are doing here is that from this plant when it is transferring to this plant, right? And you are adding up this cost here, and we will go and maintain this additive cost now and see how this entire mechanism works. So source plant, destination plant, and you are making the standard here, and the additive costs are added up here, and then system will go and stamp the price. Okay? So now let us go to SAP and try to do this, and then again for this also there is not much configuration, but there is a little bit of configuration is also there in the costing variant. We will see that. Okay. So let's look at one of the plants, right? So and then try to do this. Okay. So let me look at one material. Okay. So this material, is already in there. So let me go to additive cost section first. So in our again your accounting here, we're going into costing.
So can you share screen?
Or is it not shared? Okay. So here additive cost is there. You see here. So this additive cost section is the one where you pretty much create additive cost here. So again, if you guys recollect the cost we did like KKPAM and unit costing that we did, the same thing we are going to do here, right? Material. So here, this is the material and this plant, we are adding some cost, right? So here we are going there, right, and putting the date here. So I already established earlier, so I can continue and take that cost, or I can I can, instead of that, what I can do is that I can give a different date here. So let's say from 1/1/2014 onwards, I want to have a different price, right? So here, you recollect other day we had all the cost components and all that, right? So base price, all that is available here. It's normal regular functionality, that kind of thing. Okay? The only thing is that I'm going to give like V here instead of anything else. So I'm describing as a transportation cost, right, like that, and I'm giving like unit price as like, let's say, $30, right, and quantity 1 here, and cost element again. You remember that whatever the cost element you give, that it will go as a cost component here, right, depending upon whatever the component, right. So maybe other cost, paid cost, something like that components are there here. Let's look at the like 25 is a paid cost. It's going as a paid cost here. Okay. So now I'm just taking this and just saving this, right? So pretty much, if you see here from the date perspective, so the dates are like from 1st of January of 2014. From there, it is at $30 is added here. So I'm just saving it, and this is what it is saved, and it is kept on there, right? This is available now. So now if I go here for this material, and let's look at this material in the material master. 3100 plant I'm looking at, right? So in this plant, what I mentioned is the present procurement code is a 40, right? Which means it's going and getting the price from another plant, 3100 plant, okay? Sorry, another plant, maybe it's a 3000 plant. We can see that, right? So now I'm going here, 11 and 3100 plant. Double click on here. So now let me do one thing, right? Let me validate from 2014, right? The time frame. That is the time frame I'm giving here. Validity from. So now here, so let me just cancel this again. So 2014, and let's see the validation of the 2014 here. Okay, yeah, so that validation. So if you see here, there is $30 added here, right? So this is like as a V. So there is $100 which is coming. You can see that from where that $100 is coming. If you go to point structure, so it is going to 3000 plant. Yesterday that we discussed, right? And that value in that other plant is $100. Okay, and then value in this plant is pretty much is $130 because $100 plus freight cost. So the beauty is that you can always click here. There is a small button. Is here, right? Additive cost button. And then if you click on that button, so then you can see what is the additive cost. So remember yesterday we got like there is a mixed costing indicator. Same way there is an additive cost button here, right? So if you click on that, it will just show you only additive cost aspect. You see this is additive cost. Okay. So and also remember additive cost, unlike your overhead, you can have multiple components here, and you can calculate, and you can see whatever you want. You can do there. Okay. So any questions on the additive cost portion? Okay.
So therefore, the cost element category would be 1 or 40. It would be 1, right?
Yeah. So the cost element cost category is 1 here.
But in case of overhead, it would be 41. So there is a difference.
43. Yeah. 41. Yeah. That's correct. Yeah, but overheads are like they are indirectly you are involving that cost center and all that, right? So. So anyhow, and another thing is additive costs are time bound, right? For example, same material I go, one second. Yeah. So the same material, if I go and do CK11 for this period, right? So this period it is $1 because I entered earlier additive cost that was like $1 only, right? So which means that the cost, like depending upon when do you do the cost estimation, that it will pick it up different additive cost. Okay, so that is a nice functionality as well. Okay. And then let's go to see in the costing variant. Pretty much if you see, it's very lot of times you have seen in additive cost. We are saying that include additive cost is the what you are specifying here, and also individual components wise if you go to validation variant. So if you just tick all this, like whether it is coming from purchase price, moving unit price, really doesn't matter. It's going to include the additive cost. For example, if you are getting from parent price 1 and if you don't want additive cost included, then you will remove this thing. Okay? So that way it will ensure that that particular additive cost is not calculated for that portion of standard cost for that material. Okay? So this is the part of configuration side. So any questions on the additive cost scenario? So again, if you go back to CK74 this thing, right? So that it's very easy to see CK74N, right? So this again we have seen this, right? We already established it earlier, and we can always go and correct whatever the one which is done. We can go there and or in a way we can go to change mode actually, change so that can appropriately select what is the one which is there at the cost, right? And that date is there, so you can always click on here change mode, then you can go to change and you can change this price. Right, so that's the way it will coming up. Okay. So if you go back, so this is what exactly happened, right? So we had standard here in one plant which is was 3,000, and don't read these numbers, right? This was like the presentation prepared earlier, but like pretty much the example is understood. Any questions here? So that completes our additive costing scenario. Okay, and now let's go to the overhead. Okay, so overhead functionality we will see for today.